Monica Makes It Happen podcast is proudly supported by Goya. If it's Goya, it has to be good. And by JP Morgan Chase, New York's hometown bank for over 225 years.
All right, it's podcast number 8. I'm so excited. It's the Monica Makes It Happen podcast, where we always talk to legends who are pretty much running the world, and they're incredible people, not just CEOs, but they have big hearts. They're giving back to their community. And we're going to talk in depth about their story, how they're doing it. So how they're making money, how they're saving money, and how they're investing it, and moving forward to like giving to their communities, right? Giving back. It's always about that. We have the biz lawyer, perfect timing for me because she's talking about trademarks. She has her own show as well, which is so exciting. But it really is about protecting your product. So I want to talk to you first about your story. What makes you so excited about law and about trademark? I mean, there must be a story there.
You know, it's crazy. I wanted to be a lawyer since I was 5 years old. I'm from the west side of Chicago.
Yes, me too, Chicago.
You're from Chicago?
From Chicago. I didn't even know that. Chicago.
Wow. And so what's crazy is when I finished law school, I actually had 3 kids. At the time, my son was 11, my daughter was 7, and I had a 5-month-old.
Oh my God.
And I studied, took the bar, actually passed on the first try, but didn't have any job offers. And I really just wanted to do trademark law. That's all I wanted to do. And it's so crazy. I bumped into a professor on the way of getting sworn in to get my license. And I was complaining, telling him I didn't have any job offers or anything like that. And he said, you'll go a long way serving the underserved. And immediately I thought like, okay, I don't want to do criminal law. I don't want to do family law. I was so shallow. But he said, no, what practice area do you want to practice in? And I said, trademark. And he said, well, who's underserved in that practice area? And I said, small business owners. And he said, you'll go a long way serving them. And I would tell you, it'll be 12 years that I had my practice in May now. Those kids are now 23, 20, and 12. You know, and it's so,
20.
but what's so funny is that, you know, God just had a better and a bigger plan for me, because now my firm actually ranks number 40 out of over 28,000 trademark law firms in this country.
Wow.
And when you look at the
audience, we have Deutsche Bank, Bevy's in the house.
Thank you.
And her husband, right? Her beautiful partner. Ashley's here too. And I think Stacy's on her way. I don't know where Stacy is. And Jennifer, who's our, I'm going to take a picture. We're going to show you who's here. It's amazing. So, you know, if you've ever watched Watch What Happens Live, we have our own powerful studio audience because it's women supporting women. And I think it was Greater Later that Bevy came up with that term, and that's her slogan. And I think that's so true. A lot of the women that I've been talking to have redefined their lives at key moments, whether it's having children, down, you know, you see them as downs in your life, but they pull the FUBU CEO. Remember when he said that? It's like a slingshot. It pulls you back, but then you go ahead 10 miles forward. And that's been my story too. But I wanted to know why you became this trademark, like incredible, like mogul that you are. And a lot of people are going to need this after they watch this. They're going to be checking themselves. Give me one tip. Like if someone's watching, one tip to protect their stuff. What would you say? What's the one thing they can do starting off?
Well, first, don't build until you own. That's just as simple as it is, right? And before you begin to build it, you have to do the research, make sure it's clear, it's available, and then secure it first, and then begin to build it.
It's so good. And you know, that's exactly right. I gotta take your advice. So after this commercial break, we're gonna find out a little bit more about those tips that you can do right away to protect your business. That's after the commercial. All right, we're back. Tell me about that. If people are watching, and I always say men too, I don't want to, it's mostly women who are watching. Tell me a little bit about the first 3 things that they could do, the 3 tips that you give them right away to protect themselves.
So one, I tell them to develop something unique, right? A unique brand, a unique name. Because if it's something commonly used in the industry, we have something under the law that we say will fail to function as a trademark, right? And so you don't want to end up in that situation. You want to make sure it's unique, and then you want to attach it to a product or service. And then the second thing is, again, do the research to make sure that you clear the name. And then once you have done the research, then you want to get the application on file with the USPTO.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're speaking a different language for someone like me. What you're saying is get a lawyer, and it would cost about, what's the range for an attorney?
I can't speak for everyone else, but I can tell you at our firm, we charge at least $1,500 to get started with the process, and that can get you at least one application on file.
And it's an investment, because later on you want to avoid all the legal snafus. So if you pay now, then you can protect yourself. But if a small business is watching and saying, oh, I don't have that kind, is there things that they can do that you would suggest, one thing immediately that they can do? Big mistake that you've seen so many of your businesses do?
A lot of times, Monica, people will say that, that just sounds so expensive. But can you imagine building a brand, buying product, or even getting marketing material, and then receiving a cease and desist letter saying that you have to turn all of that stuff over so that it can be destroyed because you're infringing on someone else's brand? That is actually way more expensive. And I'm a CEO and a businesswoman, and what I would also advise them, if you plan on taking on the journey of entrepreneurship, one thing you have to be ready for is being creative about how you create finances, right?
Ooh.
Like how you raise finances.
Deutsche Bank is saying, and they're saying, I think you understand that.
Yeah, and there's some financial institutions that's out there that's willing to help businesses that's starting out in business, to help them invest so that they have a solid foundation. So once they begin to build on that business, that it's already protected.
Yeah, and again, we love JP Morgan Chase. They're one of our sponsors, and Ponce Bank. We love them as well. After the commercial, this next commercial, we're going to talk about the speed round. This is my top 10. So you guys are getting a look, both of you, to the podcast that you're coming back to do. My speed round that I asked all my guests, and actually this is the most popular. That's after the break. So best investment.
The best investment I ever made was in myself. I had to take my money and actually build my own business. And so I had to bet on myself, and it's been the best return that I ever got on any investment.
Was it scary at first?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're like...
Absolutely. It was really scary.
Did you leave like a job? A lot of people do that. They leave their big corporate jobs and they just go, I'm doing this by myself.
No, so I was actually working in corporate America. I worked at Chase Bank before. I worked at a lot of different financial institutions, and then I was a paralegal. But then when I finished law school, I only wanted to be a trademark attorney. I was very particular about that, and so I applied to over 100 jobs, to the point I even applied to work as a paralegal in the industry, and they kept telling me I was overqualified. So at that point, I was just like, okay, I guess what that professor said, I have to do it myself. And so here we are.
I love that. I love that you never gave up. That's what I always get from the billionaires that are in here and the lawyers now that are in here. Best achievement that you say that you've ever achieved, the proudest achievement.
It's crazy. You keep saying number 8, and I'm like, wow, does she know? Like, so recently I just found out that I was ranked number 8 out of 33,000 trademark attorneys in the country.
Number 8?
Number 8.
Wow, out of how many? 33,000.
And that's from pulling all the data from the USPTO. And so when you kept saying number 8, that's one of my biggest achievements thus far, plus my beautiful children as well.
Of course, we love the children. And your motto, I always say, do you have a motto or a mantra that you live by?
Yes. Well, for my clients, it's secure the brand so that you can secure the bag.
Okay.
But for me,
Ashley's sending me a sign here. I think Ashley's sending me a sign with the secure the brand. Okay.
But for me, also, my dad instilled it into me, which is quitters never win and winners never quit. And so he said, you're a winner. So I don't quit. So we just figure it out.
Biggest regret. I asked Sweet Tea this, and her answer blew me away. She said she wished she would have finished school earlier. And I didn't expect her to say that, but it was such a message to so many that, education, number one. What do you think is your biggest regret?
You know what? I probably would have answered that question maybe 10 years ago, very different. But now I take everything that I thought was a loss as a lesson, right? And I also understand that people's rejection is God's protection. So it just wasn't for me. So I don't have any regrets because I know he's in control.
Well, I have a lot of regrets. But that would be its own podcast. Okay, we'll do that. You can interview Bevy, you can interview me, and I'll tell you all my regrets. But who should be on our next podcast? You're going to have to say one of these ladies, of course. But no, but who should be on our next podcast? I always ask my guests. Who do you think should be next?
Well, I got a few women. Okay, so of course the women in the room. Of course, right? Bevy Smith, of course.
I'm taking
you know
a
it's so crazy.
Right now. Yes,
I'm trying to do a TED Talk, and the person who set me up to do it, I said, I need like an example because I really have never watched these things before.
No,
and and it's literally just, what is today? Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday.
This literally just happened on Monday. And she texted me the link and I click on, she said it was the best TED Talk that I ever seen, ever. And it was the TED Talk of Bevy Smith. And I was like, how crazy is that?
You gotta come back.
That's crazy.
Now you gotta come back. I'm sorry, when I have
and then I can show the text message.
You go on this side. You gotta go, you go with her because she loves you.
Yes.
Is that weird?
That is so crazy.
That is so weird, Bevy.
Oh my God.
Serendipitous. Supposed to be.
Yes, absolutely.
Come on into you can see her. There you go. There you are. We have Bevy in the house. And Deutsche Bank, I love you too.
And that's like the craziest thing. So she definitely has to be the next guest.
I guess you were meant to do this. I guess it was all meant to be. Because sometimes I'm like, how does this all work? You never think that there's order to it, but then there tends to be.
And that person is in Georgia, and then Ashley is here bringing us all together. It was so weird.
Yeah, we love Ashley. We love Stacy too. Stacy's bringing us together. But I mean, the bottom line is, thank you for being here. I think hopefully people are going to reach out and know that they need to know their rights. One last thing you want to say before we go that you think that they should know about when it talks about knowing their rights, knowing what the future of their businesses should be?
Well, one thing I would just say is it's so very important, especially right now, because we are in a digital world, a digital era, and technology is moving faster than the law. So what you will want to do is utilize the tools that we have.
Did she just say that? Technology is moving faster than the law.
Exactly. So you may think, oh my God, I have this amazing idea and nobody else has thought of this before. And before you post it on social media and before you go invest, sometimes people think about money, but a lot of time we're investing our time and our resources into building brands. And before you do that, you want to speak with an expert about how you can actually secure that brand so you can secure the bag, which in turn helps you secure your legacy.
Drop the mic. Well, we're wearing mics. Where are my podcast mics, Joe? I bought these $30 podcast mics. Oh, they disappeared. Anyway, I everything you said I took in. I'm going to change my life after we get off this podcast. Thank you so much. You're changing lives.
I appreciate it.
How do they find you?
You can go to securethebrand.com. Or you could go to my Instagram at The Biz Lawyer and follow me there. And in honor of Women's History Month, we are doing a Secure Her Brand event in Atlanta, Georgia at the end of this month.
End of this month.
So honor women for making history, but also teaching them how to actually secure those legacies.
Love it. If you want more information, she's going to be on my show along with some very powerful women we always have in banking, in, of course, finance, but now we have our lawyers joining us. And then we always have celebrities and just thought-provoking guests who just are making it happen in their communities. So don't forget to watch it. That's March 31st, 4:30 p.m. That's why Jen is in the house here doing the promos for me. And it is all about social media too. So don't forget to check us out on our Facebook, YouTube. You know where the podcast is, where it lives. And on television, I always say, joke, we do TV too at 5:45 and 6:45 every night. We're gonna have a Greater Later with Bevy and with you, talking about how it really gets better after a certain age, right?
Yeah.
We're making it happen together. See you next time.